Hello, everyone. My name is Annette Bettis, and I will be going over my final program proposal, which will discuss and go over how students have been affected through the COVID 19 pandemic and a program that is utilized for their families and parents to help them cope through this process, especially those with severe mental health traumas. The problem analysis and the nature of the problem. The rise in the COVID 19 pandemic put many individuals in situations of uncertainty, not only for themselves, but also for those around them. As part of this program, we will look at the social issues that stand out and the lack of understanding by family, friends, or others who have not experienced a mental health trauma as such. The past 4 years of global changes have significantly impacted many individuals, particularly young children and their families. In these turmoils, the need for family and community support is more vital than ever to the well being of the youth who have endured the COVID 19 pandemic. The effects of the pandemic have affected many in many different ways. Now, we ask the question, what is considered normal? Before the pandemic, everyone's normal looked a little different. And now, after the pandemic, that has shifted and made a significant change in the world we live in. For this program, targeted populations will look at students and families of different diverse race, ethnicity, and gender, grade level schools, impoverished families, and large communities, focusing on those communities of larger areas. The rationale for this program. Every organization needs a sense of direction. Without a clear focus on its purpose, an organization can quickly become unproductive. So, specifically for this program, I aim to help families support their youth through the COVID 19 pandemic traumas, while also supporting those families who lack the understanding from their family, friends, or others who have not experienced. The goal is to plan and create an in school program for the students who struggled through the traumas of the pandemic, which allows them a safe place to share. In the same token, also creating a safe space for families of those students to learn how to support their needs, but more importantly, how to support their child or even children who suffered through those mental health traumas. Looking at the logic model, some inputs would consist of staff, time, volunteers, money, research data, materials, technology, community partners. And the process will include those parents, families, friends, and guardians training for mental health traumas in children post COVID 19. Those outputs would consist of weekly 1 hour trainings discussing the different mental health traumas such as anxiety, depression, suicidal ideations, behavior, and then followed by that would be a completion of certificate and monthly 2 hour professional developments for staff members of a specific campus. The outcome of this would be to increase the awareness and knowledge and change of attitudes towards children with mental health traumas. Impact as a whole is for the mental health awareness for families and community outreach programs, strengthen, and student support post COVID 19 pandemic. The two goals that we're looking at for this program is to increase awareness and knowledge for families dealing with students who struggle with mental health traumas. By May 30th of 2025, the end of the school year, the families of students who suffer from mental health issues will be able to identify warning signs in their children of triggers more than 70% of the time. Now, although we know we can't catch every single moment, if our families can catch more than 70% see a sign, see a trigger, learn what is happening to a child of theirs. That would greatly increase and help us meet our goal. The second one is to change the negative connotation towards children with mental health traumas. For those of us in education, we see this frowned upon and looked at in many different ways. And so for this program, by May 30th of 2025, the campus will promote mental health awareness monthly and create a positive atmosphere with more than 80% buy-in from students, staff, parents, and community members. The program design and program components is similar, and we're looking at the same thing. We're looking at those inputs, processes, outputs, and the outcomes. With each component that's being built into this program, we're really focusing on getting these families into the building, into the schools where their children attend, and getting them to want to learn, to want to be able to help their child, not only in school, but also at home. Being able to take what they've learned and implementing it at home. Oftentimes, we see families who don't know what to do and are searching for things. And so the program design is to really target those families that want to learn, that don't know where to turn to, but bring them back to the school and give them a program that they feel that they are getting something out of and valuable, not only for themselves, but their home, their family, and their children. The flow chart. In creating and implementing a flow chart, we are looking at the axis to see how the mental health program works in just one easy, smooth process. And so we want to start with the parents reach out to the campus district mental health specialist, whether that be your counselor, your behavior specialist, your social worker. In reaching out to them, the next step is parents completing a pre-assessment. What is it that they need? What is it that they want? And then parents from there attending the program classes, those monthly classes, weekly classes that are designed for them. And then after completing all these, receiving that completed award, whether it be a certificate or just the value of knowledge that they receive. The management formative evaluation. In looking at this, we're looking at ways how our program can be evaluated. Through formative evaluation, we're conducting the actual operation of the program. So I want to know, how can program resources be optimized to achieve maximum impact? How can we better the program? While also looking at the cost effectiveness. Do the parents demand more add-on services or customizations for outsourced resource services? Do these families need more than what the school can provide? And then what is the baseline budget for the program? And how is each component utilizing the funds? Some other questions that are vital to this formative evaluation is, what is the age range of the participating parents? As we know, age range in parents sometimes make a difference in how students are raised, are treated, are supported, while also looking at the level of schooling of those parents. So not only looking at the importance of their age, but how much schooling took place. And in these low socioeconomic schools, we know that many don't make it past high school. And the last two questions that we're looking at in the formative evaluation is, again, the age of the parents and then the level of schooling. So in those four questions, those two are very vital to helping us understand where these students are coming from and then how to better support these families. Looking at the management summative evaluation, some other questions that we're going to look at, and the overall outcome is the mental health program meeting the needs, and is it what it's intended to be built for? So is what we're providing really what our families need? Is this what we intended to create? And then looking at what percentage of participants were not able to attend due to time constraints. How can we better prepare? Do we need to spend more and utilizing online learning for these families? Do we need to do mornings, afternoons? Do we need to bring in food so that is an incentive for families to come in? And then lastly, looking at the final questions is what percentage of participants demonstrated better attendance as the class continued? As families start to learn about their children, are they bringing their students? Are students feeling more comfortable? And then lastly, is the decrease in counselor support attributed to the program? So the less support that counselors are giving, is that because the program is doing its purpose? Are families being able to support their children more at home? And so those are some important questions and information that we'll need in evaluating our program. So our performance measurement, we're kind of looking at what is performance measured, what are we really monitoring, what is being looked at as the program evaluation. And so by this chart, you'll see that with each assessment data, as much monitoring time it takes, every aspect of this is important, from coverage, equity, process, effort, cost efficiency, results, cost effectiveness, the impact. We really want to make sure that we're monitoring each of these to ensure that the program is being utilized to its full potential. And looking at the impact that the program is having, the number one goal is to support those in the community who are unsure how to support their families with mental health traumas. Looking at the budgeting and the line items, as you can see, because this is a campus-based program, not very much money is needed at this time, but we are looking at the help of the Texas Health and Human Services. That is one that is offered and put out by the Texas Education Agency, also known as TEA. We also have the campus student budget, where the school will provide money for that. CIS contributions, that is our communities and schools who fully support our campuses. And then just other miscellaneous donations that we receive throughout the year. But in that $1,200 in revenue that we're receiving, our expenses will look similar to this. Supplies, that is to be able to provide and give what the parents are needing within the meeting, as well as the students. As I said, food and snacks sometimes are important in these meetings as families don't have anything or they're trying to find dinner for the night or a snack. So being able to provide food and snacks as an incentive to get parents and families in. Also, the printing and duplicating of papers, worksheets, booklets for these families to take home, post on the refrigerators, and then also any miscellaneous, fidgets, gadgets, coping mechanisms that they can use, coping tools, and the expenses is in hopes that we spend the 1,200 as well. Again, those sources of fundings are going to come from campus funds, communities and schools, and the Texas Health and Human Service Commission. I will say that in closing, all participants have lived through the COVID-19 pandemic, as it was a nationwide pandemic, but also the rise in mental health issues escalated, and youth and parents need support more than ever, especially those who are unsure where to turn to other than just their home. But now we're looking more at the school. The COVID-19 pandemic changed lives in many ways for both children and their families, and this program was created to provide parents with resources and knowledge on how to support their child or children since the pandemic and well after. Some impacts may be very similar and some may not, but those classes can be hugely beneficial. Finally, a topic many feel sensitive to address: parents' voices must be heard to provide adequate and appropriate education settings, homes, communities, and most importantly, their everyday lives. This program is meant to be in every school after my campus can politely promote the program and then be able to share in the successes. As an educator, and as many of us are, supporting the children will always be the most important thing. But without parental support, there is no real commitment to their future. The program allows all stakeholders to unite and build up the whole child. Again, thank you for taking your time.